For Thursday night's exhibition loss to San Francisco, the Cowboys are back in Oxnard, California now, beginning their final practice week out west. Tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday they practice and then break camp and head back to Texas where they host Cincinnati on Saturday night. Dak and most of the first-team offense saw action on Thursday night. Prescott hitting rookie Michael Gallup for a touchdown in the game's opening drive. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, however, did not play. Coach's decision. He has seen very little preseason play in his young career, and for good reason. Elliott talked with reporters after this morning's walkthrough. Says he does not expect the preseason strategy as it pertains to him to change very much this year.
I think we have a pretty good plan. I mean, that's up to the coaches mostly. And, I mean, I think this year will be a lot like last year. You know, I'll play a little bit in that third game. I'll probably play the first series, and, you know, that's how we'll handle that. But, I mean, it's football. There are going to be injuries, and every time you strap up and go out there between those white lines, there's going to be risk. You're going to get hurt.
Everybody on the field for Dallas Thursday night was younger than 30 years of age. Not all that unusual for a preseason game, but this is a young football team. Gallup, the third-round pick from Colorado State, making an early impression. First-rounder Leighton Vander Esch, the linebacker from Boise, is expected to step in and make a difference right away. And here's the kid on his first NFL game experience.
It was kind of surreal being out there on the field finally and playing in an actual game setting. But then again, I mean, you can't really get distracted in that sense. You gotta still hone in and focus on your craft and on every single play by play, so you know what you're doing.
I mean, every kid, you know, dreams of that. You know, I was excited, still excited. You know, catch touchdowns is what you do. Coach tells us all the time, you got to be able to win 9 routes. If they're going to load the box, you got to have wide receivers out there putting out production. So that's what we're trying to do.
Cowboys' final week in Oxnard is underway, and veteran DFW sports writer Calvin Watkins is in California, joins us via Skype. You've known him with the Morning News and ESPN Dallas. Spent a few years in other locales, but is back now with the Athletic website, covering the Cowboys again. And Calvin, first of all, how's this new gig going? You enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. It's good to come back to Dallas where the kids are and the wife, and it's a lot of fun. The Athletic's a lot of fun. It's a good place to work.
It is. You're doing great work for them. The Cowboys opened the exhibition season in San Francisco the other night. Dak and Michael Gallup connected on that early touchdown. It's been an interesting camp for the young Cowboys quarterback. You've watched every practice. Is it fair to say he's struggled at times as he's adjusted working with this new receiving group?
Yeah, he has. There were a lot of throws where I thought, oh, that's a simple throw. You should make it, and he overthrows the guy. There weren't a lot of touchdown throws before that first preseason game. And then we get to San Francisco, and he was outstanding, 3 for 3, outstanding throw to Michael Gallup there on a go route. So he might not be a good practice player, but when the lights come on, Dak Prescott is a pretty good player.
I do think he's a gamer, and obviously that offense will depend a lot about how good he is and a lot about how well Zeke Elliott plays as well, and we haven't seen him in the preseason yet. Dak's also had to deal with something that really other quarterbacks haven't had to deal with through the years, and that's this anthem controversy. I've been kind of impressed with the way he's conducted himself, no matter where you come down on that issue. I think he stated his case rather well. What's your take on that?
You know what? He's consistent, I'll say that. He's going to stand for the national anthem. And I've had a couple of talks off to the side with Dak Prescott, and I got a story working on it now for The Athletic. And look, he is down for the cause. He is down for protesting police brutality and fighting social ills. It's just that he's going to stand for the national anthem. It was interesting in San Francisco where all the players had their toe on the line, as Jerry Jones wants, for the national anthem, and their hand over their heart. Dak Prescott stood, toes on the line, but his hands behind his back. So it was kind of interesting that Prescott was a little different than the rest of the players on the team.
Yeah, and I do think Jerry, and I've said it many times, puts his players in a difficult and awkward position by this stance, because I think Dak believes in what he's saying, that he does want to stand for the anthem, but it makes it look as though he's doing it because he's being ordered to. In terms of on the field, he says Cole Beasley's his new security blanket. I'm still not convinced that they're not going to regret parting ways with Dez. And you know, Beasley's a nice player. He might have a really big year, but do you think that #1 receiver by committee can work for this offense?
We're going to find out. Now, look, everyone loved what Dez Bryant could bring to the team, but he was regressing on and off the field. So it's probably time for the Cowboys to move on. Now, if Dak Prescott's going to rely on Cole Beasley as his #1 threat, he's going to have some problems. The key for the Cowboys is the development of Michael Gallup and also the free agent signing of Allen Hurns. If those two guys can help the passing game, it'll definitely take a lot of pressure off Ezekiel Elliott because, as you know, Doocy, the Cowboys are a running team. They got to get Ezekiel Elliott going, and if that happens, then the passing game will be okay.
Yeah, we mentioned Gallup a couple of times, and Jerry and Steven and Garrett have talked about how young this team is. Anxious to see what Gallup can do. Also anxious to see Van Der Esch, and he was out there the other night. Connor Williams penciled in at left guard. Who's impressed you most of these young guys so far?
I like Van Der Esch. He had an interception in Saturday's practice. He moves along pretty good. They trust him playing on the strong side. They trust him on the weak side. He's been sharing reps with Sean Lee. He's been sharing reps with Jalen Smith. So Van Der Esch is going to be okay. Now, he's a rookie, so we're not putting him in the Ring of Honor or anything like that. But so far, the Cowboys like the fact that he can cover people in space. That's why I'm covering a running back in space the other day in practice. So, of course, Gallup has been fantastic. He runs good routes, something the other guy didn't do on a consistent basis for the Cowboys, and he catches the football. That's something that the Cowboys need out of their wide receivers. So for right now, I'd say Van Der Esch is definitely moving right along where the Cowboys expected a first-round pick to be.
Calvin Watkins from The Athletic, our guest here from Oxnard tonight. You've seen every practice. You've talked to a lot of people. Now, I've said I think it's going to be tough for this team to be a playoff team, in part because of the schedule. And you never know going into an NFL season who's going to be good and who isn't. But they have some tough non-division games, especially on the road. So I'll ask you an unreasonable question here as the final week in Oxnard gets underway. But do you think when it's all said and done, the Cowboys will be a playoff team?
Well, I'm picking the Eagles to win the division. I just think that it's better. They have better talent, better coaching. I think the Cowboys have a 10-9-win team, which would be good for second place and a wild card. So, and as you said, the early part of that schedule is a killer at Carolina, at Seattle, some tough games there. Even though Seattle's not what they used to be, still going up there is going to be a difficult place to play. But I do believe the Cowboys got 10-9 wins in them, and they'll probably finish second in the NFC East. And as you know, all things change when guys get hurt. David Irving, he's on suspension for 4 weeks. Randy Gregory, we're not sure what he's going to be when he finally starts playing. DeMarcus Lawrence, we're not sure if he can get double-digit sacks again. So a lot of question mark on this football team. But I do believe 10-9 wins is realistic for the Cowboys.
As we wrap up, you covered this team a while ago, then you were gone for a while, now you're back. Does it amaze you what an event a Dallas Cowboys practice still is in Oxnard, California, and what a circus training camp can be?
It is. I covered the Jets for a couple of months in New York, and the Jets PR staff was like, what's practice like? And I said, well, you got 2,000-3,000 people watching it, and we're filming everything. And they're like, really? It's like, yeah, it's an event. The Cowboys are America's team. They're the most popular team in the NFL, and Jerry Jones takes advantage of that. If you're a Cowboys fan, you'll love the access that Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett gives to the fans, because a lot of teams are like, no, you can't watch our practice, especially training camp practice. So then when the Cowboys come back home next week or the week after next, practice is going to be open to the public. So very few NFL teams would do that. So it does surprise a lot of teams across the league that the Cowboys are so open to the fans, which I think is a good thing.
And Jerry throws a pretty good media party, too. I saw that photo with you and Cuba Gooding Jr. I wasn't at camp any longer. I'm pretty sure I would have been invited if I was still there. But anyway, it looks like you guys had a good time. Calvin Watkins writing for The Athletic, covering the Cowboys in Oxnard. Thanks for the time tonight.
Thank you.